Welcome back to the deep dive. I want to start today with a concept that I think everyone listening has felt it, probably more than they'd like to admit. It's that feeling of dead time.
Dead time. That sounds a little ominous.
It feels ominous when you're in it. You know the scenario. You're on a long-haul flight, London to Sydney maybe. You land somewhere in the middle and you have that dreaded gap, the layover.
Ah, yes. The purgatory of travel.
Exactly. It's 6 hours, maybe 12, just long enough to be exhausted, but not really long enough to feel like you've actually gone anywhere. You're just stuck, staring at a giant Toblerone in a duty-free shop.
And eating a very stale, very expensive sandwich. It's the friction of modern travel. We sort of see the layover as a penalty box, right? It's just the price you pay to get where you're actually going.
Right. But the research we're looking at today just flips that whole idea on its head. It asks a pretty radical question. What if the city you landed in wasn't a place to wait, but a machine designed to be hacked?
Hacked for a quick visit.
Yeah. What if the infrastructure was so tight, so fast, that a 24-hour stopover felt like a full vacation?
It's a fascinating idea, the rise of the high-value stopover.
Yeah.
And based on the reports and data we have today, there is one city that has, well, arguably perfected this better than anywhere else on Earth.
We are talking about Hong Kong.
We are, and we're not just looking at it in the traditional sense as a financial hub. We're looking at how it's evolving to cater specifically to the short-stay professional.
And to help us with that, especially on the accommodation side, we're looking at this through the lens of insights from moveandstay.com.
Which makes perfect sense. They've been tracking these extended stay trends in Asia-Pacific for 25 years now.
25 years, so they've seen the whole evolution.
Exactly. From the big boom in the 90s to all the post-pandemic shifts, they specialize in connecting business travelers with things like service departments and offices, so they have a really clear view of what the modern professional actually needs on the ground.
So here's the mission for this deep dive. We're going to try and reverse engineer Hong Kong. How does a city known for, let's be honest, density and chaos, actually function as the ultimate efficiency machine?
And we'll look at the infrastructure speed, the accommodation shift that Move and Stay is seeing, and, the cultural menu you can access with almost no time to waste.
It all really starts with changing how you think about the city. It's not just for the expat living there for 10 years anymore.
No, the data shows it's also for the entrepreneur passing through for 10 days.
Okay, let's get into the mechanics, because when I look at a map of Hong Kong, I don't immediately think efficient. I see mountains, I see water, dense urban areas. If I land at the airport at 8 a.m., I'm thinking I'll spend half my day just getting into the city.
You would think so. In most big capitals, that's the reality. But the sources kept highlighting this one metric, this 24-minute rule.
24 minutes? Come on, is that like a theoretical best-case scenario number?
No, that's the timetabled reality. 24 minutes is the exact time it takes to get from the airport arrival hall to Hong Kong Station, which is smack in the middle of the business district, on the airport express train.
That's aggressive. I've been to airports where it takes me 24 minutes just to find the rideshare pickup zone.
Precisely. And that speed just changes the entire calculus of a trip. Land at 8 a.m., you're in a meeting in Central by 9:30. Easily. The airport itself is designed for that kind of efficiency. But there's a feature that I think is the real hack.
What's that?
It's called in-town check-in.
I've heard of this. Walk me through it. How does it actually work?
Okay, so it basically brings the airport check-in counter into the city. Let's say your flight out is at 11 p.m., but you have to check out of your room at 10 a.m.
Right, so now I'm a pack mule for the rest of the day, dragging a suitcase around.
Exactly. In most cities, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
In Hong Kong, you go to the subway station in Central. You check your bags in right there. They print your boarding pass. The bags go on a train straight to the airport, straight onto the plane.
Wait, so you're physically liberated from your luggage 12 hours before your flight?
Completely. You're free. You can go to meetings, go for a hike, whatever. Then you just hop on the train later with nothing but your phone.
Mm.
That alone changes the psychology of a short trip.
The friction of stuff is just gone.
And you combine that with the no visa policy for a huge list of countries, and the barrier to entry is almost zero. You just show up.
Okay, so getting to the city is solved. But once you're in the belly of the beast, it's still a concrete jungle. Am I going to be stuck in a taxi watching the meter tick up?
If you take a taxi, maybe. But the sources are all clear on this. The pros stay underground. You use the MTR.
The subway.
And it is consistently rated one of the best in the world. It's clean, it's safe, but mostly it is just frighteningly frequent.
Mm-hmm.
During rush hour, a train comes every 2 minutes. You don't check a schedule. You just go.
And this all runs on the octopus system, right? I kept seeing that name.
Correct. The octopus card.
So is that just a travel card? Like an Oyster card in London?
See, calling it just a travel card really sells it short. The research we saw describes it as more of a lifestyle key. Yes, you tap it for the train, but you also tap it to buy coffee. You tap it at 7-Eleven, vending machines, fast food.
So it completely eliminates that awkward phase where you're fumbling with foreign coins.
100%. You land, you load up one card, and you basically don't have to open your wallet again for small stuff. It sounds minor, but it creates this sense of flow.
I like that word, flow. The city's getting out of your way.
Yeah.
But let me push back for a second. If I'm flying halfway around the world, I don't want to spend my whole trip in a tunnel.
That's a great point. And this is where the city's design gets really interesting. The sources make a distinction between utility transport and experience transport. Meaning some commutes are actually tourist attractions, but locals still use them every day. Take the Star Ferry.
The little green and white boats.
Legendary. They've been crossing Victoria Harbor for over a century. It costs pennies, almost nothing. And you're on this open-deck boat looking at one of the most iconic skylines in the world. It's an 8-minute commute.
So you're getting from A to B, but you're also ticking the sightseeing box at the same time.
Exactly. Same with the Peak Tram. It's a funicular railway that goes up Victoria Peak. Yes, it gets you up the mountain, but the ride itself offers these huge cinematic views. You're commuting, but you're also sightseeing.
And then there are those double-decker trams on the island, the ding-dings.
Right. They're slow, but they're perfect for just seeing the local neighborhoods. You sit up top and watch the city drift by.
So we've established you can move fast,
Yeah.
and you can see cool stuff while doing it. But here's the next hurdle. Accommodation.
A critical piece of the puzzle, yeah.
If I'm in a city for a week or two for work, a hotel room starts to feel like a prison cell after about day 4.
The box effect. You're eating room service on your bed.
Right. There's no space. My productivity just tanks.
And that is exactly where a service like MoveAndStay.com comes in. The sources all point to this massive shift in Hong Kong's accommodation landscape, the rise of the service department.
Define that for me, because sometimes that just means a hotel room with a microwave.
Not here. It's become a really high-quality asset class. Move and Stay has been connecting people to these for 25 years, so they have the data. A service department bridges that gap between a nightly hotel and a year-long lease.
So what are we talking about amenity-wise?
We're talking about space and independence. Unlike a hotel, you get a kitchenette, often a separate living area. You have a place to sit that isn't your bed.
Which means I can make my own coffee.
You can make coffee, you can scramble some eggs. It sounds trivial, but if you're there for 2 weeks, eating out 3 times a day is exhausting and expensive.
And you just feel sluggish.
Totally. Having a home away from home is a huge psychological break. But there's a really interesting reason why the quality of these places shot up. We have to talk about the quarantine era.
Oh, right. The last few years.
Think about it. Hong Kong had some of the strictest quarantine rules in the world. People were legally mandated to stay inside a room for sometimes 3 weeks.
That would be a serious pressure test for room quality.
Exactly. Suddenly, bad Wi-Fi or a lack of natural light wasn't just an annoyance, it was a crisis. So the whole industry was forced to upgrade. Enterprise-grade internet, ergonomic chairs, better kitchen setups.
So the baseline quality just went up across the board.
Skyrocketed. And that trend stuck. Even when the rules eased, the expectation for high-quality spaces remained. Now, Move and Stay sees this demand from corporate teams, entrepreneurs, even families.
And it makes sense. You want to land, drop your bags, and just get to work.
Yeah, and you still get the concierge service of a hotel, but with the privacy of an apartment. It's really the best of both worlds.
Okay, speed check, apartment check. Now the fun stuff. The menu. I am not flying all the way to Hong Kong to eat toast in my kitchen. Yeah, that would get tragedy.
The food scene is legendary. But again, for the time-poor traveler, do I need to book a table 3 months out? That's the beauty of the density. The range is just staggering. You can go from a Michelin-starred place to a street vendor in 1 block.
So what are the must-haves for the hacker? The best bang for the time buck?
Dim sum and wonton noodles. They're perfect for the efficient exploration theme. Dim sum is fast, it's delicious, you can be in and out in 45 minutes.
And wonton noodles.
The ultimate high-quality fast food. Shrimp dumplings, springy noodles, hot broth. It's ready in minutes, costs very little, and it's incredible. No 3-hour reservation needed.
But here's where I think people get Hong Kong wrong. I'm guilty of this too. I think of Blade Runner, neon, concrete, skyscrapers. But the notes here say I should be packing hiking boots.
This is the biggest surprise for most people. The assumption is it's all concrete. But if you look at a satellite map, most of the territory is actually green. It's country parks.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The urban part is just incredibly concentrated. But you have these actual serious hiking trails. You can be in a boardroom at 4 p.m., and by 4.45, you can be on a trail like the Dragon's Back,
Mm.
looking out over the South China Sea.
That proximity is wild.
The nature is right up against the skyscrapers. And it's not just hills, it's beaches. Real beaches like Repulse Bay and Shako. You can go for a swim in the morning and be back for a lunch meeting.
It seems like this hackable city concept is really about the density of options.
That's the key. You have the spiritual side, like the Tian Tan Buddha on Lantau Island. You have the gritty, urban vibe of Kowloon, and of course, the shopping. And the horses.
The horse racing, is that still a big thing?
Huge. It's the only legal gambling in Hong Kong. The atmosphere at the Happy Valley Racecourse on a Wednesday night is just electric. It's right in the middle of the city, surrounded by apartment towers. A real local spectacle.
So you have this incredibly dense menu of things to do. But let's zoom out. We've talked about the what. Let's talk about the so what. Why does this matter for the global professional?
This is where it gets really interesting from a macro perspective.
Because, the narrative over the last few years has been complicated. You see the headlines asking, is Hong Kong over?
Exactly. But the data shows that the city is incredibly resilient, and that resilience rests on 3 pillars.
Break them down.
First, geography. It's still the gateway to mainland China. That hasn't changed. Second is the established financial infrastructure. The banking, the legal system, it's trusted.
And the third?
The physical infrastructure we've been talking about, the airport, the MTR. It just works. And what we're seeing now is a pivot. The city has really leaned into catering to this short stay or extended stopover market.
So instead of just being a place where people live for 20 years, it's embracing its role as a high-speed connector for Asia.
Exactly. It's a node in the network. You stop there to connect, to do a deal, to recharge, then you move on.
It's about maximizing the return on time invested.
That is a perfect way to put it. In so many cities, you spend your time fighting the city, fighting traffic, fighting logistics. In Hong Kong, the city seems designed to help you use your time better.
So let's wrap this up. We've painted a picture of a city that just completely defies that wasted layover stereotype. You land, you're downtown in 24 minutes flat, you drop your bags at the station, you check into a service department, maybe one you found through moveandstay.com so you know it's vetted, and you actually feel human.
You tap your octopus card for a coffee, ride a ferry for the view, eat world-class dumplings for lunch, close a deal, and maybe hike a mountain before dinner.
All in 48 hours. Without a car and without losing your mind.
That's the value proposition. It's efficiency as a service.
It really is impressive. And for our listeners planning that next trip across Asia, it's worth remembering that resources like moveandstay.com have been navigating this for 25 years.
Absolutely. If you need that service department or office, they are the veterans.
Having a trusted partner to find that home base makes all the difference. It just removes that last layer of anxiety.
It does.
Before we sign off, I want to leave everyone with a final thought. You mentioned the pivot. This raises a big question for the future of cities. If Hong Kong has successfully adapted its entire infrastructure to this hyper-efficient, short-stay economy, will other global hubs have to redesign themselves to compete?
It's the friction question. In a world where business moves faster and faster, friction is the enemy. Hong Kong has worked to remove it. Does London need an in-town check-in? Does New York need a unified payment card?
That is a fascinating thought. If other cities want to capture that global professional, they might need to take some notes.
Something to think about while you're stuck in traffic on your next business trip.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
A pleasure as always.
We'll see you next time.
Safe travels.